All right, let's dive into one of the most talked about and honestly most controversial books out there, The 48 Laws of Power. So what is it? Is it just a cynical playbook for manipulators? Or is it something more, a brilliant guide to how human nature actually works? In this explainer, we're going to get right to the core ideas, and you can decide for yourself.
This right here is the book's central and kind of stark premise. The idea is that power isn't something you can just opt out of. It's a fundamental force in the world, and pretending it doesn't exist doesn't make you a better person. It just makes you vulnerable.
And look, we're not just talking about presidents and CEOs. The book argues that these power dynamics are woven into the very fabric of our daily lives. You know, they decide who gets heard in a meeting, whose opinion carries weight in a family argument, and even the subtle give and take in our friendships. It's like the invisible architecture of our social world. And this is really the core promise of the book. If power is this unavoidable game that's always being played around us, what if you could finally learn the rules? Not so you can dominate other people, but just so you can understand what's going on and navigate the world with your eyes wide open.
So to understand the rules of power, you first have to get a handle on the players. And the book proposes one foundational truth about what drives pretty much every single human action. Now, I know the term self-interest can sound a little negative, but the book presents it as this neutral, fundamental force. It's that deep-seated human desire we all have for recognition, for control over our lives, and for security. Understanding this driver in others is really the first step toward having any kind of influence. And what's interesting is that these laws aren't based on some modern psychology trend. They come from observing historical patterns. The author looked at all these figures throughout history who just mastered the game of power. Their success wasn't about being good or evil, but about instinctively understanding this core driver of self-interest in everyone around them. Okay, now we get to the really provocative part. A lot of the book's laws of influence fly directly in the face of the common feel-good advice we're taught our whole lives. I mean, just look at this contrast. We're told to always show off our talents, right? But the book warns that appearing too perfect just creates envy and enemies. Think about that one person at work who never misses a chance to tell everyone how great they are. They might be pushing away the very people they need to succeed. Or how about honesty? We're told it's always the best policy. But the book argues that strategic control is often valued way more than just blunt truth. It's all about the outcome, not just the intention. The book frames your reputation as your single most valuable asset. It's your fortress. It's a lens that every single thing you do is judged through. If that gets damaged, your ability to influence anyone can just crumble. This is exactly why you see powerful people work so hard to protect their public image and control the story being told about them.
Okay, here's another one that might flip what you've been taught on its head. True power, according to the book, isn't about being independent, it's about making others dependent on you. When people rely on your unique skills, your knowledge, or your support, you gain this natural, subtle kind of influence. It's the person in the office everyone goes to for help, or the friend who always gives the best advice. Like the book suggests, real power isn't loud. It's something that's felt.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. All of this sounds pretty manipulative, maybe even cruel. But this next part is a really crucial pivot. The book's true purpose, as it's presented, goes way deeper than just being a guide to ruthlessness. This quote really gets to the heart of the argument. The laws aren't a prescription for how to become ruthless. They're a tool for becoming conscious, for finally seeing the power dynamics that are already at play all around you all the time.
So the ultimate purpose then is defensive. It's kind of like studying the tactics of a con artist, not so you can become one, but so you can spot one a mile away. It's about self-protection in a world where these games are constantly being played, whether we like it or not. And you can actually break this whole philosophy down into a simple process. First, just observe the patterns of power around you. Second, start to understand the unwritten rules of the game being played. And finally, use that knowledge to navigate your world more effectively and, well, protect your own interests.
So all of this brings us to the final, and honestly, maybe the most empowering takeaway of all. Ultimately, this isn't about gaining power over other people. It's about gaining something really crucial for yourself. And that's it. The ultimate takeaway is that this knowledge is a form of freedom. When you understand the silent forces that are shaping your interactions every day, you're no longer a victim of them. You actually gain the ability to see things as they really are. And what does that freedom actually look like? It's the ability to go from being a passive pawn on the chessboard to an aware player who sees the entire game. You can then choose your moves, anticipate what others might do, and you can even decide if you want to play at all.
And that leaves us with a final question, really. This knowledge, it isn't inherently good or bad. It's just a tool. So the real question isn't whether power exists. It does. It's what you will do with this awareness. Once you understand the game, how will you choose to play?